Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hi,
teacher.
teacher. Yes, teacher.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yes, teacher.
loud
yeah,
and
Yes,
great.
teacher.
Thanks
loud and
for
clear.
answering, guys. It's a pleasure to have you here. For the ones who don't know me, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Cristian Felipe Cañon. I've been an English teacher for many years. I do not. I've been working just like for 5 years, but I've been an English teacher for more than 20 years. So here I am today. I'm really happy to have you here in this EPICA session. I hope we can learn a lot. I hope we can advance in our process. So we are going to try to do this session as interactive and cooperative as possible. So I needed to be very connected with the different activities. Sometimes we're going to speak in Spanish when it's necessary, okay? In order to clarify any doubt or to make something really clear. So I'm going to be speaking in Spanish, but the rest of the time we're going to try to do it in English, okay? The meeting is being recorded now, and I'm going to share you the recording link. I think tomorrow. Yes, I'll do it tomorrow. Okay. So today we're going to talk a little bit about a very interesting topic that I decided to choose. Why? You're going to wonder why. Because I've been reading all my students' proposals and I've seen like a common factor. Okay, some of them are addressed to this topic. So that's why I chose this topic because I find it really interesting. And I did my research project in the university. I did it on this topic. So that's another reason why I chose it. Okay. But before we start, I like to get to know you a little better. I like to hear something about you, just like a couple of students who introduce themselves to get to know my students a little better. Who wants to introduce themselves? Anyone? Okay, guys. Before we move on, if there's something that you don't understand, or if you don't understand my speaking, you say, "Teacher, can you please speak slower? Teacher, can you please translate? I have no idea what you're talking about." Okay. The idea
Hey,
is that
hey,
we're
hey,
speaking.
don't
Yes.
worry. Hey, teacher, don't worry. You speak a very good English, you know. One of the best English that I have ever heard within the UNAD, you know. So don't worry, you are speaking quite clear, you know, you have good accent. So relax, relax. You are excellent, excellent. So don't worry. Go
Okay,
ahead. Go ahead.
Fernando.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
very flattered. I'm very flattered by your words. Okay, I really am. Yeah, I really appreciate it. But the idea is that all this session is really clear for my students. So maybe some students don't have that great English level or very high English level. So I'm going to try to speak a little bit slowly sometimes, so for you to understand everything I say. Okay. But thank you very much for your kind words. I really appreciate them. Brian, is there something you want to tell us?
Yeah, of course. My name is Brian Cerrosas Carrillo. As you, I have been an English teacher for more than 20 years or even 20 years. I've been working in private and public schools in a private way too, in online and face-to-face environments. That is one of the main topics, or the main topic I am making my graduation proposal for this degree, and also for my magister that I'm gonna
Okay.
apply as soon as I finish this
Okay,
bachelor.
Brian. Okay, great.
I use a really didactic and connective grammar structure, or sorry, teaching methodology or strategy in order to make students or to help students to understand the language in a very easy way with common examples, not basing the lessons in translations, formulas, or just vocabulary. We can see that, yeah, but put it in a context, not alone. That's the main way or the main goal that I have as a teacher. Provide a very good English strategy to help students to love the languages. Thank you.
Okay, Brian. Thank you very much. Okay, hats off to you. Okay, I really appreciate your words. I've been talking to you for some days now, and guys, here I want to make a little parenthesis, and I'm going to speak in Spanish for a minute. Okay, muchachos, esto que les voy a contar se sale un poquito del tema, pero es importante que ustedes lo sepan. Muchos de ustedes han estado preguntando por las carpetas para subir la información, pero ¿qué es lo que pasa? Que no sé si ustedes estarán enterados que se están presentando muchos inconvenientes con el almacenamiento de información por parte de OneDrive. Entonces, eso dificultó que algunos estudiantes no pudieran, o sea, pueden abrir la carpeta, pero no pueden subir la información. Entonces, para que ustedes no se preocupen, estamos enviándole entre hoy y mañana, listo, a cada uno por el correo interno del campus un mensaje con el link para que ustedes ingresen directamente a la carpeta y les permita abrir la información. Listo. Porque les digo esto porque se han presentado muchas dudas de estudiantes que es entendible que se desesperen un poquito, profe, y mi carpeta, pero créanme que no ha sido negligencia nuestra, sino situaciones pues particulares o extraordinarias que se han presentado con estas plataformas. Pero ya con el link que les estamos enviando al correo, ya no están teniendo ningún problema. Listo, ese link les va a abrir directamente a la carpeta y ya no van a tener ese inconveniente. Listo, entonces les pido un poquito de paciencia. Entre hoy y mañana estaré realizando ese proceso, pero son muchos estudiantes y hay que enviar el mensaje de forma individual. Listo, entonces espero que entiendan un poquito esta situación, ¿vale? Okay, good guys. So now we are moving on. We're going to continue with our topic, okay? And it's nice to meet you all, okay? Especially Fernando and Brian, who spoke a little bit about themselves. So guys, now we are going to begin here. I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you like the agenda we're going to follow today, okay? So give me 1 second. Okay. Guys, can you please tell me if you see my screen?
Yes, teacher.
Good. Okay, guys, this is the agenda we're going to follow for this session. Okay, so first of all, we're going to have some warm-up questions in order to activate the knowledge, okay, in order to know my students' previous knowledge, okay? Then we're going to continue with some gamification concepts. Then number 3, we're going to talk about gamification application and theories. This part is really important so you can back up your projects, okay? Next, we're going to talk about the benefits, challenges, and implications of gamification in the classroom. Now, well, as number 5, we're going to talk about tools, apps, and websites. Next, we're going to talk about, we're going to do some practice activities, and I hope you can be as participative as possible. As number 7, we're going to talk about some research ideas using gamification. And finally, at the last point, we're going to talk about gamification research findings. Okay, as you know, the name of my EPICA session is gamification in grammar teaching. Okay, which I think it's a very important topic, so you can apply in all your classrooms or the settings that you are observing in your practicum stage. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, this is a very interesting activity. I'm going to share you this link. Okay, can you please give me 1 second? Okay. Okay, guys, this is the link. Can you please? No, no worries. I'm going to open it first, and then, okay. Okay, guys, are you seeing the Kahoot game?
Yes, teacher. It's loading.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I'm going to, okay, guys, can you please join the Kahoot classroom here with this code, okay? 424544, okay? Or you can check the QR code, okay, here. So I'm gonna be waiting for you. We're going to start with this little game, okay, which is totally related to the topic that I prepared today.
Can you pass
Now
us
we
the
have,
link, please? Can
yes,
you pass
okay.
or send us the link?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Can you give us the link, please? Or pass us the
Okay.
link?
Yeah, well, the thing is that if I pass you, if I send you the link, that's the teacher's link. So can you okay, give
Okay.
me
So
yeah, you
should you
got it.
scan the
Okay.
padlock?
Yeah, that's it. Okay, you entered
Yeah.
like using the link that you find in Google, it could be okay, and then you enter this code. Okay, so we have like five students. We have Catalina, Ana Maria, Monica, Felipe, and Diego. Guys, we're waiting for more students, at least 10 students. Remember, try to be as connected and as participative as possible here in the activities that we're going to develop today. Okay, we have one more student, Lindsay. We're going to get until 10 students and then we'll start because we have 21 students. We have more than 20, but it will be very long to wait for all of them. Okay.
Look, teacher, while you are there enjoying that modern way to break the nerves, I want to tell you something. Before finishing, let's say, this epic, please explain a little bit the relationship between gaming and Lavinova. That Lavinova is like the cross for us, you know, and part of the big cross is the gaming in correlated to Lavinova. So don't forget about it. That's very, very important. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your observation. Although I'll have to go like in deeper research because this is the first time that I give like this course at UNAT, so I'm not familiar with the app or the LMS you're talking about. But I promise I'll look into it and then we can program another meeting so I can explain you about this.
Oh, that would be perfect. Thank you.
Okay, but thank you very much for your observation. Okay, here I'm going to write, and if you are so kind, can you please write the name of the lab here in the chat so I can search about it. Okay, guys. So we're going to start. We have 3, 5, 8. Is there any other student who are gonna join us for this activity? Okay. We were waiting at least for 10 students, but we have 8 so far. So we're going to start. Don't worry, okay? We can't wait any longer, so we're gonna start here. And guys, what I'm aiming to do with this game, it's like, we have two objectives here. The first one is to check a little bit about my students' grammar, and the second one is to correlate or relate this game with the topic that I have prepared for today. Okay, so we're going to start here, guys. Please focus and pay attention. So this is the first one. Okay, so it's a little bit of grammar review. Okay, for you it will be really easy. Don't worry if you make mistakes. Okay, that's okay. Okay, good. Guys, here we have like 3 students got it right. And we're going to move on here. The children, okay, in the park when it started to rain. Okay, guys, but here, well, the correct answer is past progressive. Yes, remember that we use past progressive to express an action that was in progress when another action happened. Yes, and here, the other action, the second action is it started to rain. So the progress is represented here by a past progressive. Yes, the children were playing. As I told you before, don't worry about making mistakes. that's not the idea, but it's acceptable for this activity. Okay, this is not like a grammar test or something like that. Okay, just like to practice. And number two, well, here we're going to check the podium. In the lead, okay, in the first place we have Felipe Durango. So we are moving on to the next question. Okay, guys, I'm so sorry that I couldn't change the timer because it's like 30 seconds per question, but I would prefer to be like shorter than that, but I couldn't change it. So um, look at the question, guys. Be fast. You have to be quick. We only have 20 seconds. Okay, great guys. Okay, good for you. Almost all of you agreed on this one. Okay, I was watching a film, the same that I told you before, past progressive. There was an action that was in progress when another action happened or interrupted that progress. In this case, is called, okay, an action in past. Very good. Let's continue here. We're gonna check the podium. Felipe is still in the lead. Okay, it's the first one. We're moving on to the next question. We're going to do it like quicker or faster. Yes. Um, okay. It gets better every time. Okay. It gets more competitive every time. Good for you guys. Okay. So we're not going to talk about the grammar in each question, just like it was just like a review. Okay. So let's continue with okay, now Monica is in the lead. Congratulations. Okay, you surpassed Diego. Okay. And we're gonna move on with number 4. My family in England this Christmas. Okay, good guys. Okay, excellent. Let's continue. Okay, guys, we're gonna get only to the 10th question. Okay, we're not going to do the 20. So we're going to stop in the 10th question for you to know. Okay, so because we have a lot of topics to cover today and it's a little bit longer than I expected because of the timer. Yes, so we're going to go until question number 10. Hello, there's one student with the microphone open. Okay, excellent. Let's move on. Okay, Monica is still in the lead, yes, while Felipe is second and Catalina is third. Number 6. Okay, great. Good. Monica is still in the lead. Congrats to Monica. We're moving on to 7. We are missing just like 4 questions. That's it. Okay. Romeo and Juliet. Okay, excellent. Let's continue here. Okay, Felipe is back in the lead. Okay, good, great. That's a great change of events here. And we have Monica and Diego in the podium too. And let's continue with the last three questions. Popcorn. Okay, good. Okay, Monica is back in the lead. There's a nice competition between Monica and Diego. And Felipe, I'm sorry. Yes, and Diego too. Okay. Guys, the last two questions. Okay, excellent. We're gonna check the podium here. And we have one last question. Monica is first. And this is the last question. We're not going to finish the 20 question. We're going to stop. We're going to stop here and move on to the topic that we have prepared for today. Okay, good. So guys, we're gonna check who the winner is. So Monica, congratulations, you did a very good job. That's excellent. As I just told you like some minutes ago, the idea was like when it had like two objectives. The first one was to check the grammar. Okay, so you gotta be a little bit concerned if you made a lot of mistakes, and the other like was to ask you how did you feel during this activity. I mean, in terms of sensations or feelings, how did you feel, or how do you usually feel when you are competing with other students? Guys, can you please give me some perceptions?
Excuse me, I could give you an anti-perception, because I am 69 years old, and I was out of the game. I put some answers in the chat, but for me that's a torture, huh? It's not enjoyable. But I understand that the young people, they see this like the Olympiads. It's nice. It's a mind challenging. I think it's excellent. If I were 50 years younger, well, I would be playing that again. But for me now, in this moment, it's real torture. No, thank you.
Okay. Okay, Fernando, that's excellent. That's a different perspective from a different, well, from a student's point of view. In this case, Fernando gave us his perception about the game. Guys, is there any other student who has like felt a little bit different?
I want to participate, teacher, and I think this is an interesting game because we can do a short review about the grammar that we should have known already. So I think this is a good job, and we can also improve our skills or think about what did we do wrong and what do we have to improve.
Very good. Excellent, Claudia. Okay, so it's very interesting to know your own strengths and flaws, right? And weaknesses. That's great. Okay, to check your grammar and to have a little bit of a competition, which is always really nice. Okay, excellent. Guys, any other student who has felt a little bit different? Okay. Why did I ask you this? Because I want to know my students' perception in front of a game like this. Because if you're gonna apply like gamification or games in the classroom, well, you have to feel a little bit identified with them. If you don't believe in them, it's very difficult to transmit this to our students. Okay, so that's what I wanted to see how you felt in this kind of exercises, and also because, well, it happens to me. I'm going to tell you my experience. When I'm in a game like this, I tend to forget all the grammar rules that I've learned all my life. So that's amazing because I think when the game's over, I say I knew this answer, I knew it, but I put it wrong. Okay, so it happens to me, and I wanted to talk about it if maybe some students have felt the same way, that they forget all the grammar rules they had previously. And when they're in the game, they feel a little bit blocked. Okay, excellent, guys. So thank you very much for your cooperation here in this activity. We're going to go back to the presentation here. And guys, now we have some here, like some warm-up questions, okay? But give me 1 second, okay? Yes, okay. The first question, but we're going to do it in a different way, okay? I want to know what comes to your mind. What comes to mind when you see the word gamification, okay? But okay, can you please give me some perceptions? What comes to mind when you see this word gamification?
Uh, Feedback.
Feedback, very good, excellent. Okay, short
Thank you.
words, excellent.
Games
Games, feedback, what else?
or
Fun.
virtual games.
Virtual games, very good. I don't know why, but we always, well, I agree with you. I always associate this with virtual games, not with like face-to-face or on-site games, but only for virtual games. I don't know why, because this is a misconception. This is a little bit wrong of us to think only of virtual games, but that's excellent. Thank you very much. Guys, have you ever used or experienced gamification in learning? How did it impact your motivation? Have you ever used this kind of strategies in your classroom? Nope.
Yes,
Yes,
of course.
teacher. I
And
used
it's a new topic to the students because it's important
Uh,
to motivate them before starting a lesson.
Excellent. Okay, to get the best out of them. Okay, very good. To motivate them first. Thank you very much. And there's another student who was speaking. There's a girl who was speaking.
me, Monica.
Okay, Monica.
I use gamification for a class. I use Kahoot actually, and for present simple daily activities. And it was really motivating. They had a lot of fun and they wanted all the classes to be with Kahoot. But well, I couldn't do that. But it was really fun and motivating.
Thank you very much, Monica. And that's what I want to talk about in some minutes, that we talk about the challenges and considerations that we must have in terms of gamification in the classroom, because not everything is good, not everything is gold. Okay, there are some flaws or some weaknesses about this strategy too. Okay, so we are moving on. What are some examples of games or gaming elements that could be used in the classroom? Monica just talked about one, which is Kahoot. Guys, do you have a different strategy that you use in terms of gamification?
Teacher, World
Whoa.
World.
Oh yeah, that's excellent. Okay, yeah, we're going to talk about it in some minutes. Yeah, it's one of my favorite. Yeah, okay, I totally agree with you. We totally concord. I love Word. Okay, very good. Why do you think students enjoy learning through games? Okay, why do you think it's that possible to get students motivated through games?
Well,
Tutor, I think it's about didactic games. They
Very good.
have great idea about these activities. They enjoyable and Oh my God, I forgot the word. Sorry. Um, I enjoyed. They are listen carefully, and many other things they have when oh my God, when the teacher use the games in the classroom.
Very good. Yeah, they're like 100% expectant. They're like eager to play. Okay, that's a characteristic of gamification. Okay, it
Uh, uh,
boosts the students' motivation. Yes.
Teacher, but remember the human nature, seeing things from a distance, I see that all these modern wave of gamification is like a rediscovery of the our animal part. If you see all the animals, when they are just small ones, all of them are beautiful and they are playing all the time. And even if we don't like to think about it, we are animals also somehow, you know? So we are
Yeah.
so playful. That's why the babies are so beautiful. So to learn through games, it seemed for me something elemental, Rousseau could have thought about it. So I would say that it's like recovering the root, the source,
Yeah.
going to the source, We are a game. Perhaps the whole cosmos is just a game.
Okay, that's great. That's a very interesting point of view, and probably many of us haven't seen it from that point of view. So thank you for clearing that up and for bringing such a nurturing concept to the class. Okay, thank you very much. It's very interesting, guys. What are some challenges teachers might face when using games to teach grammar? Okay. But guys, give me 1 second. I'm sorry to interrupt. Okay, I don't want you. I don't want to get too advanced because we're going to destiny a part of the class to this question. So don't worry, you don't have to answer this one. And okay, do you think gamification can be used for all types of learners? Why or why not? We're going to make a parenthesis in this one. We're going to keep it in a standby. Yes, and we're going to go back to it later. Yeah, this one about the challenges. But what about this one? Do you think gamification can be used for all types of learners? Why or why not? Who wants to tell us?
Teacher,
Yes.
tutor. I think maybe it's not because not all the learners have the same process about learner. Okay, many students have problems with learning English or another topic, for example, and it's so difficult to use the gamification in this case. I
Okay.
think that.
Okay, so you think it's not suitable for all learners. Okay, thank you very much for your perception. Okay, good. Excellent. Okay, guys, these are like some warm-up questions to get my students activated with the topic. Okay, so here, what we're going to do is like we're going to have like the theoretical definition of gamification in teaching. Okay, so here we have like the technical definition. Yes, gamification is the application of game design elements and game principles in non-game context to increase engagement, motivation, and learning outcomes. In education, gamification involves using points, badges, leaderboards, storytelling levels, and challenges to enhance learning experiences. Okay, in the context of teaching grammar, gamification transforms traditional grammar exercises into interactive, dynamic, and enjoyable activities that encourage active participation and long-term retention. This is what we've been discussing so far. And I just wanted to show you here what's the technical definition of the word so you can keep it in mind, but it's nothing different to what we have been discussing so far. Okay, we were very close to this definition. Yes. Okay, Yeah, guys, here, well, I asked you this question before. If you gamify your classroom activities, and I had some different perceptions. One student said that games are not suitable for him, and other students say that they use Kahoot, which is a great tool. It's one of the most common tools. Okay. And here, can you tell us about any examples? So we were talking about word wall, and Kahoot, yes, as different tools. Let's continue with this, guys. Pay attention here. This is a very important part of the session. Yes, we are going to watch a little bit short but very interesting video about the application or on theories on gamification. So I want you to pay close attention, and after the video we're going to have like some questions to discuss what you are going to see right now. Okay, so guys, can you please focus on this video? Give me 1 second. I'm gonna okay, I'm gonna share my screen with you once again, but I'm gonna share it with audio and video features. Give me 1 moment. Okay. Going to close this one. Okay. Okay, guys, can you please tell me if you can hear the video?
I see it.
Yeah, you can hear?
No, I cannot hear anything.
No, teacher.
No.
Okay, don't
Yes.
worry. I'm going to fix it right now, okay? Give me just 1 second. Okay, what about now?
No.
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
Not yet. Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm sharing with audio. I'm sharing everything that I have here, but I don't know what's going on. So I think I have to do it differently. Okay. Yes, okay. Yeah, I think now problem solved. Hopefully, okay. I'm going to wait for your answer. Guys, what about now?
Middle school kids business
Yes.
Yeah.
concepts.
Yeah, okay, good. Thank God. Okay. Good, guys. So we're gonna watch the video.
Hi, I'm Carl Kopp, and I want to talk to you about life lessons from video games. I believe video games can teach us all kinds of lessons. Several years ago, I was teaching middle school kids business concepts using the video game Roller Coaster Tycoon. In that game, in order to run a profitable park, you have to have, of course, a roller coaster. You have to have merry-go-rounds. You have to have that kind of thing. But you also have to have certain amenities like trash cans. You have to have restrooms. You have to have benches. In order to do that, because you get happy customers, and happy customers stay in your park longer and they spend more money. So I was teaching the kids about to do that, and I was looking around the room, and it surprised me that one group of kids had a lot of happy customers, but they had none of the amenities that I thought that they should have. There was no bathrooms, no benches. So I walked up to them, I said, you know, how do you guys do that? Don't you get unhappy customers? And they're like, oh yeah, we do get unhappy customers, but we just take care of them. I said, what do you mean you take care of them? And they said, here, let us show you with the exuberance of middle school students. And I said, let me see. And he said, well, we bring up this list of all the customers in the park, and we find an unhappy customer. And we take that unhappy customer, and we grab them, and they took them over a lake, and then dropped them in the lake. I said, you drown unhappy customers? I said, yeah, the game lets us do it. So at this point, some of you are thinking, yep, I knew it. Video games are pretty violent. Even something as benign as a roller coaster game, they're killing people. And if that was the whole story, I'd have to agree with you. But that's not the whole story about video games, and that's not the whole story about these kids drowning customers. While we hear a lot about the negative aspects of video games, there's a lot of positive aspects of video games that I'd like to talk about. In fact, there's a growing body of research about many positive aspects of video games. For example, the video game World of Warcraft was mentioned in the Harvard Business Review as a tool for teaching virtual leadership and virtual team building skills. The game Minecraft, which many of you may play with your kids or grandkids, is being used to teach math and geometry all over the country. The game Rise of Nations was the topic of a study. They took 40 non-gamers, average age of 69 years old, had them play this game and found out it increased their mental acumen in terms of switching tasks, reasoning, and short-term memory. Action-based video games like Assassin's Creed, actually people that play those have ability to make decisions 25% faster without sacrificing accuracy as people that don't play action-based video games. So there's a lot of value in video games. Many, many years ago, I was playing a video game with my son, and it was a game where you took off from the aircraft carrier, flew past some enemy airplanes, around ships, and to an island. And it was a game that really caused me a lot of problems because I couldn't take off of that stupid aircraft carrier. Every time I tried to get my airplane, it was shot down again and again and again. I just could not do it. I looked away for a moment, and my 8-year-old son was playing the game, and he got halfway to the island with his airplane unscathed. I said, Nate, how did you take off from this aircraft carrier? I cannot take off. He said, Dad, I didn't take off. I said, what do you mean you didn't take off? He said, here, I'll show you. And he proceeded to taxi his airplane off the left-hand side of the aircraft carrier right onto the ocean. And he drove his airplane past the ships, too low for the airplanes to get him. I couldn't believe it. He had found a flaw in the game that was so outside of my realm of consciousness and the consciousness of the developers, we couldn't even fathom it. To me, if you're sitting in an airplane as a pilot on an aircraft carrier, you really only have one choice. It's to take off. And what that taught me was to think about, are constraints our own, or are we constrained by the environment around us? So video games let us think through these constraints and let us get outside of what is conventional and think unconventional things. I call that lesson Drive on the Ocean. So I want you to think about driving on the ocean. Another really interesting game that really helps prove that point is a game called Fold It. Now, Fold It was developed at the University of Washington. And the idea behind this game, it's a serious game where you try to predict the folding of certain proteins. And in fact, a number of years ago, players playing this game actually figured out the structure that helped with HIV research. In fact, they discovered something that had stymied HIV researchers for literally decades. Yet by playing this game, they were able to do that. So whether the game is by design or accidental, it can teach us to drive on the ocean and think the impossible. It's kind of like what Lewis and Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. The Queen said one time, she said, you know, sometimes I believe in as many as 6 unbelievable things before breakfast. And I think she was playing video games. So video games can also give us a different perspective on our lives. Now, oftentimes when we play a video game, we're looking over our own shoulder. That's called the third-person perspective. Now, sometimes we drop and we look in the first person, but more often than not, we're in third person. And we do that because third person gives us wider control, it gives us a wide perspective, and it lets us know where we fit into the larger environment. And it turns out this is actually really good for us from a research perspective. Dr. Lisa Libby at Ohio State University did a study where she had some people, she took college kids, and she asked them how many of them thought that they were socially awkward in high school. And so she grabbed these kids who self-identified themselves as socially awkward, which made me wonder, like, who didn't identify themselves as socially awkward, but I guess there's some. But anyway, they identified themselves as socially awkward, and she had them imagine a socially awkward situation from high school. Some in first person, some in third. The people that recalled it in third person subsequently indicated that they had changed dramatically since that embarrassing event. They had more confidence. But the people who imagined it in first person didn't have that same level of confidence. They didn't see themselves as having changed quite as much. In another experiment, they took people who were going to vote, and they had them imagine themselves voting, some again in third person, and some again in first person. The people that actually went out and voted were the people that imagined themselves voting in third person. On a personal note, I was in a meeting one time that was particularly contentious. We felt that the customer was wrong about some request that they had, and they felt that we were wrong, and we weren't going to compromise on that old thing, the customer's always right. And I was literally like seeing red. I was so upset. But I took a moment, and I stepped back, and I looked over my own shoulder at my body language, at the body language of my boss, at the body language of the customers. And in that moment, I got the clarity that helped to solve that problem by simply looking at it that way. It's kind of like the New York Times journalist Ben Casey says. He says that viewing yourself in a movie or a play, and I'll add a video game, is not merely indulgence or fantasy, but it's fundamental to working out who we are and who we will become. So I call this lesson, Widen Your Perspective. So take a moment and sit back and widen your perspective as you go through your day or go through your life. Think of how you're interacting. So now let's get back to those kids who are very happily drowning unhappy customers. About 10 minutes after I had gone ahead and talked to them, and they had bragged about drowning the customers, they came up to me and said, Dr. Kopp, we've got a major problem. You know, a crisis that only a middle school kid could have. We've got this major problem. We're going bankrupt. I said, you're going bankrupt? They said, yes, can you help us? So I went over and found out that they were actually drowning customers at a higher rate than new customers were coming into the park. What they really should have been doing was converting customers instead of drowning them. And I asked them what they felt would make this more balanced. And one young lady very intuitively said, balance. We need to have more balance. You cannot use one measure of success for success. You need to use multiple measures of success. And so I call that lesson, don't drown your customers. So those are three simple lessons I think we can take away from video games. And the homework I want to give to you is that next time you play a video game, I want you to think about the life lessons that are in that video game. I want you to take them, and I want you to share them with others. Thank you.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry about the long video, but I thought it was really interesting because in that way, students can see like video games and gaming from a different perspective. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you here, that video games can also help our students to solve problems. Okay, It could also be helpful in the medical field. Okay, so they have like many benefits. That's what I wanted to show you with his TED talk, which I found it really really interesting and full of knowledge. Okay, so now give me 1 second. I want to I want to share with you some questions here. Okay, based from the video. Well, the first one is okay. The speaker highlights how video games promote problem solving and creativity. How this how does this compare to traditional methods of teaching grammar? Can you please give me like I don't know, a parallel between traditional teaching and gamification or using video games in the classroom? What like how does this compare to traditional methods? Guys, can you please give me any perception that you have? What are the difference between gamification and traditional learning?
Yeah, of course, teacher. Sorry for interrupting like you like that. As I said before, there is one of the main topics that I'm focused on my graduation project. That is changing the traditional methods, translation from Spanish to English or from mother language to the target one, into the more dynamic ones, in which grammar and vocabulary should be taught in a context, making the life experience or the teaching experience or the learning experience an easy and comfortable situation or process for students and teachers. Okay, avoiding the excessive use of books with no connection topics that forces students to be just focused in the book activity, doesn't allow the interaction with the language. That is the most important part, interacting with the language. Perception about that. Also, including videos and some virtual tools would be really useful to motivate and encourage students. Thank you so much.
Okay. No, thank you for your deep insights about this topic. Okay, I'm really impressed, guys, with all your interesting point of views. I'm really enjoying this EPICA session because I'm learning a lot from my students. Okay, I really admire you guys. You are going to be wonderful teachers, that's for sure. Guys, any other different opinion?
Teacher, before leaving, I explain later. I agree with you. I see an excellent level. I see a great bunch of people trying to speak English in the best way. With the best phrase, and I am watching all that, and I like it. I see flowers that are opening. It's beautiful. Hey, teacher, you are an excellent teacher. I like your English. I have to
Yeah,
leave.
I'm really impressed. Okay, but gladly impressed. Okay.
I leave
Okay,
now.
don't worry. Yeah, that's okay. If you have to go, okay, go ahead. Yeah. So thank you very much for your like constant participation. You did a very good job in this EPICA session. Okay.
Thank you. And always remember, your English is perfect. Ciao.
Thank you very much. I'm flattered. Okay, guys, what about this question? Many video games are engaging because they provide intrinsic motivation like curiosity, challenge, and progress. How can gamification in grammar teacher go beyond just rewards, extrinsic motivation, and foster deeper learning? Can you, who wants to give us an opinion about this question? How can we go beyond, okay, just rewards? Not all the time rewarding students because it's going to be, there's going to be a point where we have no more prizes, okay? So we can't praise them all the time. We can give them rewards all the time. No, okay, but so how can we use gamification in grammar teacher and to make it go beyond just rewards, like extrinsic motivation and foster deeper learning? How can you think we can achieve that? Any any opinion? It's a difficult question.
Yes, teacher. It's difficult.
Okay, no worries. Okay, guys. So, is there any student who wants to have a saying here? No? Okay, as you know, when we use gamification, the idea is to give our students like rewards. But what about if we don't want to give them rewards all the time? So how can we use gamification to foster deeper learning? Like what different strategies we can use? Okay, so guys, one idea here, it's just like to make learning more meaningful. Okay, without the need for prices all the time. Okay, they're going to enjoy learning more, not only for the rewards or the points. Okay, they're going to enjoy this learning process way more than the traditional methods. Okay, so that's another benefit of gamification in the classroom. Okay, now guys, gamification and real world application. I have a question here. The video highlights that that Minecraft is used for teaching math and World of Warcraft is used for leadership skills. How could a grammar-based game connect to real-world language use? How could a grammar-based game connect to real-world language use? Any thoughts? Any opinions? You're very quiet. Cat got your tongue. What happened? You're speechless right now. Are you hearing me? Do you hear me? Yes? Yeah, okay. Guys, any thoughts on this question? No thoughts? Okay. Now, pay attention, guys, here. Well, I have this first question for you, okay? Well, the name of the author, the name of the presenter is like Car Cap, okay? Here's three key lessons from the video. One is driving on the ocean. The other is widen your perspective. And the other is don't drown your customers. Which of these lessons do you think is most applicable to education and why? He was talking about three different lessons that video games has brought to his life, right? So what do you think, in your opinion, it's the most important lesson? The one about the customers, the one about the drive on the ocean, or the one about widen your perspective?
Maybe the ocean? Sure.
Why?
Well, I think it's many possibles or opportunities to um, to get um, new learning for the kids, for example. Igual, some are example the English learners, pardon, the grammar, the different ways to see the different topics. I don't, well, I think that many possible. Do you understand me?
Yeah, okay, excellent. Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, no, congrats. Okay, you did a very good job. You explained yourself, which is a good thing. Okay, I understood everything you said, and that's the real answer here. It's because with Drive on the Ocean lesson, we can consider our students' different styles. They have different learning styles, and we cannot force them to think the way we do. Okay, there are many possible solutions for a problem or for a grammar rule. We have to be flexible when teaching students, and that's what this lesson has taught us. Excellent. You did a very good job. Okay. Excellent, guys. Any other opinion in general about the video? Something that you may find a little bit interesting, or something you don't agree with, guys? Any other different opinion about the video?
Well, teacher, I believe that video games can improve student skills and also help to develop some other skills. The thing or the problem that I have with video games is the time that students or children in general spend playing them. So it would be like good in a way, but bad in the other way.
Yeah, Monica, I totally agree with you. In a couple of minutes, we're going to discuss about the challenges using gamification. And I think you've just mentioned one very important challenge that we have to face when using gamification. Guys, a question outside this context. Did you fill in the attendance? Did you uh, click on the attendance link in the campus? That's really important for us.
What attendance link?
It's something that says like I'm interested o me interesa. Well, in Spanish, did you click on it?
No, actually
No,
I didn't
teacher.
see it.
Yes, me too.
Okay. Okay, guys. Okay, because the director told us to tell our students that they needed to click on that button that says like me interesa. But I don't know if anyone can enter the campus and tell us if they find like this button. Is there anyone here inside the campus right now?
I am, but no, don't see the the zip as in my campus, the EPICA, sorry, in my campus.
Okay,
I can see
okay.
it.
Okay, so I'll check into it with the director. Don't worry. Okay, good guys, excellent. So now we are moving on. Yes. Okay, give me 1 second. Um, Guys, as you know, well, some students have chosen this topic to develop their research project, right? Because that's what I've seen from the reviews that I've done in the campus. So right now here, well, I have some very okay worldwide known theories that you can use to back up. Remember that there must be some theoretical framework, okay, to back up your project. So here we have some theories that can help you like support your research project in terms of theoretical framework. So here we have like constructivist learning theory, yes, by Vygotsky. In here, well, we can see that gamification fosters collaborative learning, so we can apply collaborative learning into our project, okay? And now let's continue with a self-determination theory, okay, that suggests that motivation is driven by autonomy, competence, and relatedness, okay? That's another theory that you can use to back up your project. Here we have like the flow theory, yeah, describes a state of deep engagement where learners lose track of time. This is a very interesting theory, guys, to be honest. This is one of my favorites because when we use gamification in classrooms, we can see that students lose like track of time. They're not in a hurry. They don't want the class to end. They're like eager for more. Teacher, what about the next game? Can we please keep playing? Can we do another one? So this is a very important theory that you can use, the flow theory, for these kind of projects. Okay, we can also use behaviorism and reinforcement. Okay, through rewards. Remember, when we use gamification in classroom, we use points, badges, leaderboards. Okay, to reinforce positive learning behavior. So that's another theory that we can use. And the other one would be like cognitive load theory. Yes, that suggests that complex information should be structured to prevent cognitive overload. Gamification chunks grammar instruction into a small engaging task, making it easier to process and retain. So that what theory really says is that we should like break like grammar topics into really small parts, like try to apply them using games so the students like internalize or learn these grammar rules in a different way, because some topics could be more difficult than others. So with gamification, we try to make things a little bit easier for our students. That's what this theory says, okay? Now, guys, we are going to talk about benefits of gamification, but here I want to hear you. Okay, we've been talking about gamification for an hour, yes, and we've talked about many benefits, but here we're going to turn them into more technical or academic expressions. So what do you think, talking about academic context, would be like some benefits from gamification? What are the benefits gamification? Can you please tell me?
Can you
In your
repeat again,
opinion,
please?
what are some benefits of gamification in your opinion? No benefits. Yes, guys, what do you think? I'm pretty sure that you have I think you have very interesting insights and opinions. Tell me about the benefits that gamification can bring into the classroom. No, you're very quiet. So we're going to talk about some of them. Okay, here, the most important when using games into the classroom to engage students and to motivate a student. This is the main benefit from gamification. This is one of the principal benefits using to engage our students, to connect our students more with the topics, with the activities, and motivate them. Okay. Another, like to enhances retention and recall. If you are learning a grammar rule, and if you do it by playing a game, I'm pretty sure that you are going to retain more information than traditional methods classes. Okay, so that's for sure, and that's totally proven according to some researchers. Okay, so enhances retention and recall. Guys, do you have any other benefit from gamification that you can think of?
The
Teacher,
learning process is more interactive and dynamic in the classroom.
Very good. Yeah, classrooms or classes become more enjoyable, more entertaining. Excellent. Guys, another student?
immediate feedback, because
Very
students receive
good.
instant feedback on their performance, allowing them to understand their strengths and areas of improvement quickly.
Very good. That's very interesting.
And
Okay.
it's more easy the self learning to the students.
Very good. Thank you very much. Okay. Another benefit encourages active learning. So students are learning in an active way, not only like translating worksheets or copies, that's more like traditional methods. Here, they're like active participants of the learning process. Good. Very good, guys. Okay. Supports differentiated instruction. Okay. Gamification allows for adaptive learning. What we've been talking in the last activity, that we have to take care of, we have to be aware of different learning styles. Okay, so we using gamification, we can support differentiated instructions. Okay, and guys, now here the challenges and consideration. Despite its benefits, gamification in grammar teaching also presents some challenges. Okay, so we're going to talk about challenges, guys. What are some challenges that you find, or some flaws or weaknesses that we can think of using gamification in the classroom? Can you please, I'm going to show you some of them, but you are going to think of some others. Okay, for example, here, yes, overemphasis on rewards. That's what we were talking some minutes ago, that we cannot give students rewards all the time. For example, I'm a university teacher. So when I apply a game in my classes, I say, okay, for the winner, I'm going to give you 1 or 2 points in the final exam. That's great, but just for that time, not all the games. So that's very difficult to maintain because students are going to keep asking you for rewards and prizes, and that can happen. Can you imagine if we have 10 classes? In 10 classes you are going to get like 100 points. So you are going to be free at the end of the semester. So that's not possible. We cannot do it that way. Okay, we have to make students aware that we're going to give them a reward, but not all the time. This has to be very specific with our students. Okay, not the overemphasis on rewards. Okay, this is a little bit time consuming, you know, because if you prepare a game, it takes time to prepare. Okay, so designing takes a lot of time. As you know, as future teachers, you know that preparation is what takes most of our time. Yes. Assessment difficulties. Here I find a very interesting challenge. Okay, what it is: how are you going to evaluate our students using gamification? You can grade them like the first or second or third place. That's very easy, right? Because I'm going to give you some rewards for the winner and for the second and third place. That's it. But how are we going to evaluate the other students? How are we are going to measure or make sure that the grammar structures are correct? That's very difficult with gamification. So we have to consider this as well. Okay. And some consideration, guys. But before here, is there any other disadvantage or a challenge that you find using gamification in the classroom?
I see a competitive dynamic. That means that some students may be motivated by and learn. Some others that don't have or haven't learned the grammar, for example, or the vocabulary, may feel stressed, and it may affect their participation or self-esteem and collaboration.
Yeah, okay. Props to you. Okay, hats off to you. I love what you just said. Why? Because I was going to talk about that. Okay, I have some perceptions here. The first one is, for example, what happened today in the EPICA session? Only 10 students participated in the Kahoot. What about the other 20 students? What happened? So that's another consideration and challenge that you have to face in the classroom to be sure that all students participate. Look at what happened today. You are university students and only 10 students participated in the game. What about the other 20 students? It's more than half of the classroom. So it's very challenging. Yeah, you have to make sure that all students are going to participate. Another point of view, what you just said, some students are more timid or are more ingoing than other students. Some students don't like to participate in role plays, in like theater or something like that. Don't students don't like that. So what are you going to do with ingoing or timid students to make them participate in these games? That's another challenge and consideration that you have to think of. Okay. Okay, what else? Okay, guys, yeah. There's always different levels in any classroom. Some students are better than others. So that's what you have to do. You have to find a balance. Do you remember in the video that he talked about a balance? You have to find a balance, not to make it difficult, but not to make it easy, because the smartest students are going to get bored and they're going to abandon the class. Say, teacher, I already know this. Okay, I'm off the hook. Yeah, I'm going to go out because I don't find this very interesting. Okay, so you have to find a balance when you create like games in the classroom. Okay, things to consider. Yes, okay. Not what we've been talking so far. Not all learners enjoy all games. Okay, avoid focusing on academic competition. Okay, sometimes it is good to make them or to give them rewards. That's good, but not all the time. Remember, I just said that some minutes ago. Try not to make it a competitive classroom, because the students are going to be competing all the time, and some students get more competitive than others. So the environment of the classroom can get a little bit difficult. Okay, guys, here choose when and how to use gamification. We cannot use gamification in every class because our students are going to get bored when you don't use it. Okay, so you can't prepare it, or you can prepare one game for each class. No, that's very difficult. That's impossible. That's very time consuming. So don't get your students used to gamification in every class. Okay, and you have to be clear about if it is a lesson starter, like the way we did it today. We played a Kahoot at the beginning of the EPICA as a language practice or for individual progress. You have to check your objective here. Guys, here we have some practical applications, and we have the gamification strategy. We have like the application in grammar teaching, and here we have some tools or some resources online. Yes, for example, for points and leaderboards. Remember, leaderboards in Spanish, we say like tabla como el podio, okay, leaderboards. So we can use Kahoot or quizzes. I don't know if you have used quizzes. It's a great tool. For levels and progression, we can use Duolingo. Remember, Duolingo is a free app, and I think it's one of my favorite apps. I make my daughter use Duolingo. She's 8 years old, and she likes Duolingo because it's very didactic, interactive. So you can keep your students' progress using Duolingo, okay? Badges and achievements like logros, we can use Classcraft or Class Dojo. I don't know if you've heard of Class Dojo. I'm going to show you a little bit in some minutes before we finish the EPICA. It's a very interactive classroom where you can keep or track your students' progress. You can block or activate activities. It's a great tool. For storytelling, yeah, we can use like RPG games like Twine, okay? Yes, what is RPG? It's role playing, okay? With this tool, with Twine, you can make your students, but this is like for more advanced students, okay? To make them create their own stories, okay? And you can read them. They can interact with the other students' stories. They can add like emojis or stickers. They can make it a really interesting, okay? And here, collaborative challenges, we can use Breakout, Edu, or Word Wall, okay? The one that we've been talking at the beginning of the class, okay? For example, here, let's talk about Word World, okay? It's one of my favorites, okay? Because you have a wide range of different kinds of activities, and this is one of them, like the random wheel, okay? For example, what different usages can you think of this random wheel in the classroom? What topics can you use with this tool? Give me an opinion.
Well, tutor, I use the random well tool when my students, for example, discuss about the topic. For example, the topic about the English, sorry, the vocabulary in English, or maybe the for example, neoclassicism,
Okay.
may different topics. And the last one, for example, when they discuss about the final class, when they have the, oh my God, I forgot the word. I say in Spanish, okay?
Okay.
When they say the aseo, for example,
The
they
what?
fight. Aseo,
Okay.
Spanish. They
Very good.
fight. So I decide with the RIS tool, it shows aleatory who wants to barrer, for example, trapear, for example. organizar las
Good,
sillas.
very good. Okay, do the cleaning in the classroom. Very good.
Yes,
Yeah,
that.
okay. That's something I hadn't even considered until now. Yeah, that's a great tool to make them do like different activities in the classroom, like cleaning, like sweeping, like dusting. So here it's like a random wheel for that purpose. Congratulations. Okay, good, very good. Okay, guys, as you can see, we are creating collaborative experiences here. That's an experience that I hadn't heard of. Okay, and that's very interesting. Okay, so if my students don't want to participate, so I put all the names here and I spin the random wheel, and the student who gets here, it's going to speak. Okay, so it's a matter of luck, and we can do it more enjoyable. Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, excellent. Guys, when you are using any digital tool or app or website, you have to take in some considerations. For example, how accessible is it? If I am using, for example, Kahoot or any online game, I have to be sure that my students know how to enter. There are some students who are not very good with technology, so we have to help them all. Okay, we have to check that the material that we use, that it's online, that it's on the internet, it's updated. This is very funny. I'm going to tell you why. I have one experience. I downloaded a PowerPoint presentation some years ago talking about like basic information like nationality, age, name, occupation for famous people. And I downloaded, but I didn't check the information. When I presented to my student, it was like a couple of years ago. And for example, it was like Cristiano Ronaldo, and Cristiano Ronaldo, the age in the presentation was like 30, like 31, and he's 40 now. It was outdated. Okay, it was not updated. So you have to check if the information is right. Remember that any person can create a Kahoot or any of these tools. So we cannot rely that everything is correct. We have to check, we have to verify. Okay, you have to think about the age of the group. Yes, if they're kids or adults. What is the source language? Okay, what grammatical aspect you are going to work? Okay, and what skill is practice? Because we have to make sure that our students develop the 4 skills, not only grammar, but reading, speaking, listening. Okay, that's very important, because when we play Kahoot, what do the students have to do? They just have to click. That's it. Okay, no, we cannot stay there, guys. We have to go beyond. We have to practice other skills like listening and speaking, which are the most difficult skills for our students. Okay. Well, here I was going to show you something, and here, well, if we had time, but we don't have any more time, I think we reached the timer here in the session, which is an hour and a half. But the idea was like, if we had time, I have to clarify that each student created like a mini lesson using any game or any online resource, like a sort of gamification in the class. But as I just told you, we don't have the time. Okay. And guys, here, yes, okay, some research ideas using gamification. Okay. For example, okay, for your research question could be, how does gamification impact the learning of, okay, any grammar topic in EFL students? Okay. For example, this one, another idea, game-based versus traditional assessment in grammar learning. That's another research topic that could be very useful for you. Okay. And here I show you the methodology, and I show you some very important considerations. Okay. Another idea, the impact of gamification on student motivation. Guys, these ideas are based on research projects, so that you can use for your own project. Okay, I'm pretty sure that many of you made up your mind with the topic that you are going to work, but here you can find some interesting ideas using gamification. Okay, And guys, here we have some real research projects developed on gamification. And here we can find some, for the sake of the argument, okay, valga la redundancia, findings, okay? So here we can read environment, help students to compete. No, give me 1 second. Characteristic gamification. Okay, here. In terms of a student's characteristics, gamification helps students reach the ideal level of success. Some new software like JClick can be used by teachers optimally. Thus, students will display great success since their needs met. Students about writing demonstrated that gamification helps students self-judgment and self-monitoring during the process, okay? By self-correction, students tend to write essays in a better way. Gamification is also effective for grammar teaching. Online language games help students to achieve success and to make them feel like they're successful, including motivation and fun. Language games allow students to learn vocabulary at their own pace, autonomously, and in an environment without language barriers. In classes, students' attention raises. You know, when we are playing a game that I tell my students, we're going to play a Kahoot, they concentrate immediately, okay? They leave everything they were doing because they're eager to play. So attention raises. Quick feedback gives students time to learn. Positive communication is another pro of gamification in ESLL. Shy students also compete, and students' weaknesses and strengths can be measured easily. By gamification, students' intrinsic and extrinsic motivation raises. Okay, very good. Guys, is there any question about our EPICA session today?
No, teacher,
Nothing,
everything is
teacher.
very clear. Sorry, I was
Yeah, good job.
just paying attention, but I'm
Yeah.
in some virtual classes. Excuse me, there is an attendance list or attendance form?
But here, here in Teams, we can download the attendance. So no worries, okay?
Okay, thank you, teacher.
I'm going to download it. Guys, I really appreciate your participation, okay? I'm really glad you were here. I had a great time with you. I was totally impressed by your level, by your ideas, by your, I don't know, your active participation. You're going to be great teachers. Remember that I'm here to help you all the time. Don't hesitate to contact me anytime, and we'll be in touch, okay? I'll share you the link with the recording tomorrow. Is that okay?
Okay, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for the students who participated very actively. Thank you so much. And for the other students, thank you so much too. Okay, guys, bye-bye. Have a nice day, and I hope to see you next time. Okay, thank you, Sandra. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Bye, guys.
teacher.
Okay,
Bye.
see you.
Thank you.